Hi everyone, this is Boogats Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Marvel Legends Punisher figure. So before we take a look at Punisher, let's take a look at the accessories he comes with. Also, Happy Halloween. So, for the first accessory, Punisher comes with the left arm of Man-Thing. Now, I'm very disappointed with this part of Man-Thing because the left hand broke. Now, I was able to fix a screw into it so that it'll still stay up in there, but as for having any movement now, it doesn't have any. And this arm is really, really loose. The swivel at the bicep, you can see that it's moving really freely. So it could just be mine, but the other arm is this way too, so that bothers me. There's Man-Thing. Last figure I need to review is Daredevil, and he comes with his head. Now for the Punisher's accessories, he comes with a pistol. Now, I actually like this because it's actually silver. It's not just dark gray. It is actually silver. And I think it looks really nice. Needs a little black though right here on the handle. But other than that, it looks really nice. It looks better since it's not just a flat gray and it's actually silver. So he can hold this in either hand. He actually has trigger fingers, which I was a fan of, since most of the Marvel Legends don't have trigger fingers that come with weapons. You can see he can fit this in his right hand. And he can't fit it too well in his left hand because it's actually a little stretched out. But it will hold just like that, but if you move it around, it'll drop out. Now, my only complaint is that he has nowhere to store this. He doesn't have a holster on his hip or even anything on the back of his belt to clip it onto. So you can either just have him holding both weapons, or because he also comes with a machine gun, so I mostly just have him holding the machine gun. This is actually really, really detailed. I think it looks really nice. Very reflective black collar. And this looks really nice. And he can hold this in his right hand. Definitely can't hold it in his left because it's too small for the left hand. He can hold it tightly in one hand, which I really like. And he can hold it in two hands. Oops. Let me get this back in here. There. That was my fault because I did bump it. Now it is rough to kind of maneuver it in there, but you can get him holding it properly, which I think is really awesome. So now on to the figure itself. I think Hasbro did an awesome job on the sculpting on this head. I think it looks very much like Jon Bernthal. They even got the haircut right, the army haircut that he has for Punisher. So I think that looks really awesome. And I actually like how he's got a cut right here on his nose. Usually Hasbro doesn't paint, or I think it's just painted. Yeah, it's just painted. They usually don't put any cuts or bruises or anything on figures, so I think that was really awesome to add that little bit of detail right there to him. He has a 5 o'clock shadow too, which looks really nice. And I think that his insignia looks really awesome because in the show, how he gets it, if I remember correctly, because it's been a while since I've watched it, he spray paints that on his armor right here, the body armor. And it actually looks like it's really spray painted, which I think looks really awesome. I think it needed to be a little more faded over here on the right side because this left side's really fading and looks like real spray paint, but this looks like it's just too perfect, so I would have preferred a little bit of scratches or something to make it look more like it's spray painted. But for the Punisher's coat, he comes with, it's a very, very durable rubber. You can see it bends very, very easily. And you can remove it, but he doesn't really look right without it on. Which you could do it. It doesn't look that bad, but it just looks a little funny. But it does tend to shift up and down on him a lot. Now I will show that in just a second here. Let me put it back on him. There. So when you're posing the figure around, his coat tends to shift up and down like that. Which it doesn't really bother me. I just wish it would have been a little smaller and fit him more. That way there wouldn't be a gap. Because you can see that gap. Like you can see back pretty far. I don't think you can see to the other side quite, but there is a gappage right there. I think his pants look nice. I'm really glad that Hasbro didn't reuse the Nick Fury pants that they've reused for years. This is actually new. All of this figure is actually new, even down to the boots, which do look better than the previous boots that the Ultimate Nick Fury body used, which I think looks really awesome. And he actually has souls sculpted on the bottoms of his boots. So that amount of detail is really awesome. I thought it'd just be smooth or say Hasbro or whatever on it, but it's actually sculpted. And he does have peg holes on his feet too, so that's really cool. So now I'm going to go over his articulation. He's got a ball jointed head that can look all the way up and all the way down. You do have to kind of maneuver because it is a little stiff, but you can maneuver. His head moves side to side. He's got ball jointed shoulders that can move out that far. He's got a swivel at the bicep. Now this is the really interesting part. He's got a single jointed elbow, but it has a cut in it like all the way up to here, up to his bicep, so that it actually functions like a double jointed elbow. So I think that's really awesome, and I hope that they start doing it with their female figures too. That Hasbro starts doing it with their female figures. That way we'll get more articulation, because I'm fine with single jointed elbows as long as they have this much articulation to them. He's got a swivel at the wrist that can move side to side and up and down. He's got a ball jointed diaphragm that can move back that far and down that far. And he's actually got a swivel at the waist too. And that's a lot of articulation right there. He's got ball jointed hips that can just about do a split. He can kick forward that far. He can kick back that far. Like I said, the coat doesn't hinder it since it's really soft. He's got a swivel at the thigh. Double jointed knee. Now this is where it gets tricky to move. There. You can hear it when I move it making that noise. And I thought he had a swivel at the boot, but he doesn't. It's just a separate piece that's glued on. I really wish that he would have had that, because I feel like his right foot or his right boot is just a little crooked. But again, that just may be on mine. He's got a swivel at the ankle that can actually move down pretty far. Move up pretty far. And he's got an ankle rocker too. So I will show. I think that his right foot is just kind of moved in just a little bit. So that would have been nice if there would have been rotation at the boot. But overall, it really doesn't bother me. So now I'll go ahead and put both weapons in his hand before I do the comparison here. I just left them off because I knew that during the review they would probably fall off. That's actually what happens. I don't have very many figures that I can leave accessories in their hands while I'm doing the review, because they will get knocked out or whatever while I'm doing the review. So there he is with both of his weapons. And I'm trying to get him to stand, because he is a little tough to stand. So here he is next to the only other, well, other than Daredevil, Netflix figure that we get in the wave, Jessica Jones. Here he is next to my Iron Fist custom from the MCU. There. Here he is next to the comic Punisher. You can see that they do look different. This is actually the 90s Punisher, but he still pretty much looks the same today, other than he does have the combat boots now, and not these white boots. And then here he is next to Shane from The Walking Dead, because they're both played by Jon Bernthal. Now, actually, this is the first for me, this, you can see the likeness here. Let me tilt his head up just a little bit. I actually think Marvel Legends has a better likeness of Jon Bernthal than this figure that's a McFarlane figure, which puts a lot of detail into their figures. So I actually think that for the likeness, this Marvel Legend has a better likeness. So I would highly recommend this figure. It's really awesome. And I'm glad that the coat is that very soft, kind of pliable rubber. So you can move it around and it doesn't hinder the articulation any. So that's my review. And if you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.